lots of things to do and you're going to be with a small group. So I put together this really short video to give you an overview of the National Air and Space Museum and let you get a little preview of some of the things you're going to look for. As you look for things, you're going to be doing a little bit of a scavenger hunt, finding thing to thing, going to different parts of the museum. At the end of our trip, we're very likely going to see a movie. But until then, let's find as many things as we can on our scavenger hunt. Let's take a look right now and go inside. One of the first places that you'll see as you walk into the building is an area called the Great Hall. All of you will get a chance to visit this area. Some of you at the beginning, some of you a little bit later on. This is where you can see some of the great big spaceships, satellites, person-carrying spaceships that have explored the planet that we're learning about in class. One of your activities will be to try to figure out how some of these satellites or objects worked and whether or not they landed on a planet, just zoomed by a planet, or orbited a planet. And you'll have to match the spaceship with where it went or what it did. So you'll have to find the spaceship and do a little reading on it to match the spaceship with what it did. There will be many spaceships on the ground. There will also be spaceships hanging from the ceiling. So, in the main foyer, you will look for and try to find spacecraft that flew by Jupiter, orbited Venus, orbited the Moon, landed on Mars, and orbited the Earth before some of your parents were born. Here we can find a model, a real-life-size replica of the actual Hubble telescope that's in space right now. This model was used to help engineers and astronauts prepare to put the real telescope into space. One of the things we'll see in this area are some of the many photographs taken by the Hubble telescope. These photographs let us see things that are very far away that could never be seen before. In the Hubble telescope exhibit, you will try to find models of the Hubble telescope and photos taken by the Hubble telescope. It's a bird, it's a plane, or it must be a UFO, but it was. One of the exhibits that we'll observe is called Explore the Universe. Here we will see many of the tools that astronomers have used for hundreds of years to learn about, to identify, and to get some information about objects that are really, really far away in the universe. One of the things you'll get to do in this exhibit is look through a Galilean or an older model telescope and a more modern telescope. With this, you can look for details on a model moon. You can also see telescopes and other instruments used by early astronomers from all over the world. If they don't work right away, you can pull this back and forth and that will help focus it. After using the Galilean telescope, be sure to check out the very, very large telescope used by William and Caroline Herschel, the brother and sister team that's discovered many galaxies and the planet Uranus. One of my favorite areas to look at is called Fingerprints of Light. Here you can see the different colors that hydrogen, carbon, lithium, and neon, atoms and elements that we learned about earlier this year, we can see how those different elements emit different colors or different kinds of rainbows, and that helps scientists know whether a star or planet is made up of these atoms. So take a look at the fingerprints of light. It's a nice thing to press some buttons and try to figure out how scientists would know if a star or a planet had lots of hydrogen, neon, or carbon or something like that. In this area, we can see how scientists can tell whether a galaxy is moving towards our galaxy or moving farther away based on the color that the galaxy emits. How did the color change when I was cranking that galaxy behind me? Up and down, up and down. You can explore this for yourself in the Explore the Universe exhibit.
There's a lot to see in the Explore the Universe exhibit. Look up, look down, on the floor, on the ceiling, and see all the different ways that scientists are exploring the universe.
So at the Explore the Universe exhibit, look for different kinds of telescopes, notes and data from William and Caroline Herschel, the fingerprints or rainbows of light, a galaxy that changes color as you crank it up and down, and all sorts of things on the floor and the ceiling.
Mars is red, Jupiter is blue. Saturn shows off its rings. Venus is built on funny toes. Neptune is its twin.
Much of our scavenger hunt will take place in the Exploring the Planets exhibit. Here you're going to see many of the things about the planet that you are researching and see some things about other planets. You'll see spaceships, you'll see rocks from the planets, you'll see models that are much bigger than the ones we're able to make in class, and hopefully you'll get a better understanding of the planets and some of the other objects in the solar system while you complete your scavenger hunt and find really cool stuff. When was your planet first discovered? And who discovered it? The discovery portion of the Explore the Planets exhibit will help you find out. One of your questions on this scavenger hunt is going to be who discovered your planet and when was it discovered? The tools of planetary exploration. In this part of the Explore the Planets exhibit, you will see beyond telescopes and using the naked eye, what are the different ways that spaceships and satellites being spaceships that have no people, what are the different ways that astronomers use satellites to learn about planets and other things in the solar system? Here your challenge is going to be what type of things have scientists discovered with each method of using a satellite. After we see some of the ways that scientists explore the solar system, we can see a giant model of the solar system. Here you can look at how is this model accurate and how is it inaccurate. Are the objects in the model the right size? Are they the right distance away from each other? Check out the model, find the planets and maybe some moons that you know, and see. Within the Explore the Planets area, you'll see a small exhibit on each individual planet. This is a chance for you to find facts about your planet. And remember, don't just look down and out, but sometimes you might have to look up because there might be a satellite hanging from the ceiling. In the Explore the Planets exhibit, there's a lot of information about Mars. So even if Mars is not your planet, please take a look at this. Mars is our closest planet, and scientists believe that Mars is the planet most likely to support life. So scientists are constantly sending spaceships to either orbit or fly by or land on Mars. There's lots of evidence that there might be water on Mars, and as you know, water is necessary for things to live. What do you see here that might be evidence that there's actually water or something like what we have here on Earth on Mars? Since Mars is right next to the asteroid belt, next to the Mars exhibit is an exhibit on asteroids. Check it out carefully, especially if you are wanting to know more about the dwarf planet Ceres. You can see some real asteroids and try to figure out how they are like or different than rocks we know on Earth. And finally, we'll come to the Great Wall of the Outer Planets.
here's where you can find information about all those planets that are far in the solar system, and many of them are very large. And as you leave there, take a look up where you can see a model of the Voyager spacecraft, the one that took all these great photographs that we see of the outer planets. And last but not least, check out the video Journey to Mars, where you can see how scientists got a billion-dollar giant remote control car safely traveling millions of miles and landing without a crash on the surface of Mars. So there's lots of cool stuff to see at the Explore the Planets exhibit. You can find out when and who discovered your planet, find the name of a spacecraft or telescope that visited or photographed your planet, learn about life on Mars, see some asteroids, and watch a movie where a car flies.
It's not alone in space. The universe has endless mysteries. Sometimes until astronaut will find out that what he thought a shooting star instead turned out to be. And the planet Jack sees a galaxy crash.
That concludes our introduction to the Air and Space Museum on the National Mall. What will you explore when we get there?
Go outside and see it. It's very, very. You wouldn't be able to make all of these towers